Good day guys, my name is Lord Tomo. Welcome again to another Sonic the Hedgehog toy item collector review. As you know, I'm Lord Tomo with the good old plush to Sonic the Hedgehog. Since it's been a while since I uploaded a review, I'm going to get straight into it. This is the one and only Meru Sonic. No, this is Dr. Eggman. Of course, depending on how the entry point in which you start to enjoy Sonic the Hedgehog and its universe, or how much information you do know, he is also referred to as Dr. Robotnik. Little history: he was initially Dr. Eggman in Japan. When they came over to America, he was Dr. Robotnik, or Dr. Ivar Robotnik, which I think is still pretty good, but then they switched it back to Dr. Eggman, which I think is pretty awesome, and they did it quite smart too. I was quite impressed on how they did that. But enough of the story. This is the 25th anniversary Dr. Eggman 8-inch plush. It's a mouthful, but it's a mouthful worth saying, because this is a phenomenal plush, to say the least. It's not to say that he doesn't have a small hiccups. Now, the hiccups aren't bad in that it's horrendous or anything like that. It's just preference. So there's a difference from actual saying that it's a defect or default to that where I would have preferred a cosmetic change or a specific change. But anyway, let's get straight into it and go from there. So as you probably already know, this guy is so reflective, especially with the lights, as you can see with his big butt. They cannot lie. Gotta clean up his butt. So I'm not 100% sure on the material that they use. It's definitely not plastic, that much I do know. It is a reflective sort of material, in that the way it looks is pretty much just very, very different. It's basically, as the light hits it, it kind of gives it this luminous sort of vibe, luminous sort of look to it, and it does look pretty prestigious. It looks more, I know I'm beating around the bush here just a bit here, but bear with me. It looks more to do with the fact that it's got kind of like a glowy effect to it, kind of like this ta-da effect. Does that even make sense? I hope it does. It made sense to me. But yeah, it's pretty much cast in that material, of course corresponding to its colors. For example, yellow to yellow, blue to blue, and he's red to red and black to black. The only thing that the material doesn't cover is his mustache. As you can probably tell, it's not reflective at all, which I think works well, but kind of doesn't work well 100%, but I'm sure we'll get into it. So first and foremost, you have his big head, extremely well stuffed, very thick, very, very stubborn, which I think is great. You have, of course, his glasses, which don't have the glass caps, which tend to, not on this plush, but most glasses, they tend to hook around the ear. But of course, Dr. Eggman never had that. His glasses were literally kind of semi-implanted into his eyes, not implanted, but they kind of like stationed themselves on there, which I thought was great. And it's kind of has this like little, not lens flare, but this little like lighting effect to give him more of a characteristic change in terms of his glasses, which I think is great. You have his big fat nose, which I think is absolutely awesome, just the way he looks. Very captures. And of course you have his mustache, which are exactly the same on either side. The stitchings are there, but I think it adds more character than anything else. Now, initially when I first saw it, I was just like, why did they make this reflective as much as everything else? Could it be lack of material? Could it be lack of interest? But now that I'm more observed in its natural habitat, aka my shelf, it looks phenomenal. It really does. It makes it unique, because other than his fat body, Dr. Eggman doesn't have any major noticeable difference other than his mustache. So it makes sense to make it non-reflective of sorts, because it kind of makes it prominent in its own right, which I thought is great. Now, this does do something which I thought was absolutely phenomenal in terms of just design, and that's attention to details. Now you can vaguely see his teeth at the very bottom there, right? Now, normally most production companies, in terms of creating plushes, from what I've seen, I could be wrong, they tend to avoid the smaller details to save costs. It's not necessarily bad, but it's something I wouldn't necessarily want them to do. The fact that you could actually see them at the bottom is great, but the fact is you can actually see how it goes all around on either side of his mouth. So if you were to, I'm not going to do it, but if you were to remove, for example, his mustache, you can actually see him smiling, which I think is so great. Love it, love it. So there's that. You have, of course, his like little collar. I don't know, it's a collar cape, because it goes all around and you kind of like which I think this is adorable. I don't know why. I always like messing around with this, but it's kind of like his collar cape, and you have his various little design there, which is great. So there's that, which is always superb. You have his big stuffy fat body, which is always a plus. Always love that. And of course you have his big hands, which is always great, and whatnot. And of course, there you have it. He's waving. Now his hands are exactly the same on either side in terms of the way it's designed and the way it stitches. Let's flip it around. Of course, it goes with the standard stitching, where it kind of gives it that look that it has fingers. It's not bad. It is what it is. It's a known, I guess, what's the word for it? It's a known technique that they use to save cost and whatnot. And you know what? It does its job. You know, what more would you? Unless I would only be bothered if this was an action figurine, like a plastic one where the fingers aren't divided, but the fact that this is a plush, why would you want movable fingers anyway? So, which is great. It's extremely well stuffed on that side. Of course, the pivot points aren't stuffed as much. It just is it just to give it more of an abundance of movements, which is great. His whole body is extremely well stuffed. He's so fat. Of course, if you skipped any stuffing in the stomach, that would have been a major criticism. And his whole body is pretty bland in that aspect, but he's extremely fat and chubby there, which is awesome. Of course, as is the norm when it comes to Dr. Eggman, he has the most skinniest, little mankiest legs you would ever see in the face of the earth, and there he has. I'll just do it on this side. There you have it. So skinny, so it just doesn't. Visually, you think, why? How does that even work? But it makes sense. He's meant to be a fat, stubby little guy with skinny little legs, which I thought was always awesome, and one of the major appeals as a kid growing up, especially now. The fact that they're able to do it, of course, they had to, which is awesome. They tend to make Dr. Eggman in the American versions roughly in the 90s, where he had like big, thick legs, kind of make him a big guy. But I always enjoyed this Dr. Eggman, you know, big fat body, very goofy, very sinister, and smanky little legs. that's always been my thing. And of course, there's no full pants because it's all black, so it's meant to be like a one piece, which I thought is awesome. And you have his, like, I would imagine these are his, like, not belt buckles, but like his buttons where he stitches onto his pants, which I thought is very, very great. So which is so phenomenal. I like this actually. I really do. I always liked this Dr. Eggman than the I guess you could say modern. By modern I mean mid-90s Dr. Eggman, Dr. Robotnik, where he had thick legs. I do have one that I will review down the track. I can draw a comparison. I always liked simple, because Sonic, let's be real, Sonic has always been a simple character with his various friends, and Dr. Eggman should have been simple. Of course, as the years progressed, Dr. Eggman became his own entity and whatnot. But overall, this plush is great. You cannot go wrong with this. Oh, I forgot to mention, he's got little ears, because nobody really notices his ears. Like if you have him like that, or even if you have it like that, just a small detail, attach your details, move that, boom, you got ears. You can't go wrong with that. Whew, man, I'm so excited about this. I'm losing my breath. Of course, you do have his little hashtag at the bottom, which has thingy, and you have his sticker which says Sonic 25th anniversary Sonic the Hedgehog Dr. Eggman. And if you were to open it, of course, come on. Yeah, this has been very okay. And if you open it, you have a picture, of course, Dr. Eggman, which, as you can see, practically looks 100% like the actual animation design. Phenomenal. Now, my only real criticism that I have from this is not the plush itself, is the location of this actual tag. I would have preferred this to be at the back, because simply for display purposes, it kind of detracts a lot from the actual plush itself. Of course, you could argue, what, you know, Tomo, why don't you just cut it off? And you're right, I should cut it off. But being the collector that I am, and this is a collector's plush, I would probably argue this is more of a collector plush than a usability plush, as in you just mess around with it. Why should you cut this necessarily off? Of terms of, I don't know, like this might be the ultra rare down the track, who knows? But as it stands still, it is common. You can purchase it pretty much everywhere, really. I got it off Amazon. People have said you can get it from stores like I know in the US you can get it. I know in the UK I'm pretty sure you can get it. In Australia I've yet to really see it, which is a real bother. I think there are some stores in Australia that sell them, but I didn't get this from Australia, unfortunately, because you know, being me, I have to collect it, and if I can't find it, I'll get it offline, which is where I got it. Amazon, is where I got it, so you can definitely get it off there. It's rarely available. Check it out, go buy it. It's always a plus. But yeah, other than this, I would have preferred this to be smaller, if anything, and not on his arm, but it is what it is. I've got to move on with my life, so there's that. So there's his hand. It is what it is, and I think is absolutely, I enjoy it. I really, you have no idea how much I enjoy this. He's so awesome. How much did I get it for? I think, if I'm not mistaken, about $15, $15 to $20. A little pricier, but think of it this way: if you've never been a true die-hard Sonic fan, or if you just want to pick up a few things every now and then, you don't have to be a massive Sonic collector to be a Sonic fan. That's never been a thing. They're both mutually exclusive, and because of that, this is just what I do. This is my pastime, right? But if you want to pick up a few things here and there Sonic related, I'll probably pick the set. Honestly, I would. There's 4 in the set. There's Sonic, Knuckles, Tails, and Dr. Eggman, and they'll look phenomenal on your display piece if you ever choose to. And it just adds to the edition, gives them more of a vibrant color. You know what I mean? This gives them more of a character to your room or display, whatever the case may be. Other plushies don't necessarily do that, but this one really does, so I recommend you pick it up. Rarity 1 star out of 10. It's not super rare now. It may be super ultra rare down the track, who knows? Nobody truly knows, but it is what it is, and I think it's great. Honestly, you have no idea. I really think it's phenomenal. But yeah, tell me what you guys thought on this. Would you ever pick it up? Have you picked it up? Is it as grandioso as I make it out to be? Then again, most of my reviews tend to be very A+, with a few exceptions, of course. I'm not 100% biased to Sonic and Exclusion, whatnot, but this plush is so you can't even describe it. It's just a sound. It's a plush. I think it's funny. I think it's awesome. Alright guys, stay tuned for more reviews down the track. I will be reviewing other stuff. Don't get me wrong, I've not neglected this channel at all. More stuff is definitely more to come. Just life. I'll probably do an update down the track. Anyway guys, thank you so much for checking out this review. Speed on, take care. Until next time. Peace.